Hi, I'm Donna Meldon, coordinator for the Holmes County Chamber of Commerce, and this is Chats with the Chamber Lady. Today's guest is Isaac Becker with the Becker Insurance Group. Hi, Isaac. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Donna. How are you? Thanks for having me.
We are glad to have you as well, Isaac. And of course, with you being a insurance broker, tell me exactly what that is.
Yeah, so I help educate and advise seniors here in the surrounding area here in Holmes County in regards to their Medicare benefits. So I help educate and advise folks on that end, and it's a big monster when it comes to Medicare. So a lot of information out there, and I help try to navigate them and get them a good result.
Go ahead and tell us what is Medicare.
Yeah, so Medicare is a federal insurance plan through the government here. The qualifying events for individuals here, typically for most individuals, they're going to age in at age 65. Usually if they've worked for 10 years, they will be eligible for Medicare. If you have a qualifying event, say a disability, things like that, those individuals would be eligible. If you have end-stage renal disease and ALS, those qualifying health events will automatically get you on Medicare.
Okay. And of course, a lot of people get Medicare and Medicaid confused.
Always.
So if you just touch on that and let us know let our viewing audience know what the difference is between Medicare and Medicaid programs.
Yeah. So again, Medicare, we just kind of briefly touched on here on the federal side of things. Medicaid is going to be on the state side of things. Okay. Again, a lot of those folks get them mixed up in regards to Medicare and Medicaid. Okay. State, the Medicaid portion is for individuals are going to be low income or have families as well. And those are typically based on federal poverty guidelines here that are dictated by Social Security and the federal government.
Okay. So. All right. And what options do Medicare recipients have in regards to their secondary insurance?
Yeah. So usually, once an individual will qualify for Medicare, that setup is going to be an 80-20 split, okay? Meaning that Medicare is going to pay for 80% of those healthcare costs.
Right.
They're going to be on the hook for the other 20, okay? And so there's two different avenues that you can go down to in regards to secondary insurance, okay? Which is, again, what I focus and specialize in. So the one option is going to be a Medicare supplement plan or a Medigap plan that folks might see, obviously, on TV or in the mail. And those are going to be premium-based plans that are going to help fill in that 20 percentile side of healthcare costs. And then the other option that's usually now catching really fire nationwide now are going to be Medicare Advantage programs. And so what Medicare Advantage does is it combines your Part A, which is your hospitalization, your Part B, which is all your medical. So that would even include stuff from durable medical equipment to preventative services, x-rays, MRIs, things like that. And then your Part D, as in dog, that's going to be on your drug side. So those Medicare Advantage plans are typically the route that most folks are typically taking now from enrollment. And what that does is it'll bundle the A, the B, and the D. And then there's some additional benefits that will be covered outside of Medicare, like vision and dental, over-the-counter supplies, things like that. So those are the two options, the Medicare supplement side or Medigap side or the Medicare Advantage side.
All right. And now, what incentives or benefits are available to folks enrolled in a Medicare plan?
Yeah, so, again, if we're looking at more on the Medicare Advantage side, which, again, most folks are typically taking advantage of that, there are a lot of benefits, especially the vision and the dental side, that original Medicare doesn't cover, that are going to be added into these Advantage plans. Some will have over-the-counter supplies. Some will also be helping this year in 2023 with utilities, which is an interesting angle.
So that's a new benefit.
Yes, exactly.
Can you let us know a little bit more about that?
I can't necessarily specifically talk in regards to plans, but in a generality standpoint, those benefits will have certain set dollar amounts for those that are eligible to enroll in those types of Medicare plans, and those would help in regards to utilities as well. other benefits that are going to be transportation. Those are really kind of the big points that we focus on. Hearing, okay, things like that.
Okay. And now, and I see these commercials all the time, but why should Medicare folks call a local agent like you versus the Joe Namath and the Jimmy Walker's commercials that give the numbers that you can call and enroll?
Yeah, again, I appreciate the plug there for a local agent, but with most folks, that are Medicare recipients, about 70% of folks that they poll, okay, are saying that they do not understand even how Medicare works. So these folks are already at a massive disadvantage in regards from an educational viewpoint. And then when you're calling out to these local phone numbers, they're incentivizing you obviously based on a certain benefit. Right. Or a plan or something else that sounds good. And usually when you're calling out to those individuals, there's no personal touch. It'll typically go to a call center or what we have is a TPO, a third-party organization. Some of those individuals may not even be licensed. The entity itself may be, but those individuals that you're talking to on the phone may not be licensed. So it becomes a point of problematic because you may have some bad actors that are out there. I've had at least 30 clients this year that have been, called and then promised something, enrolled, and then they're calling me back to help fix the problem. So, that's that issue of constantly educating folks and re-educating clients and individuals like that. So having somebody that you reach out to, personally here that's in the county is going to have obviously a more better approach in regards to obviously providers, things like that, and then plans that they already know that they're most likely looking to help you out with.
And Isaac, I can give you another plug right now. Of course, you signed my husband up for his Medicare benefits.
Yes. Yeah.
And you did such a great job of that. And any questions that my husband had, and even after his Medicare plan came into effect, right, you were still there to answer those questions and resolve any issues that he might have had. So
right.
I can certainly vouch for the local agent. What can you tell me about Medicare as it relates to the seniors here in Holmes County?
Yeah, so in Holmes County here, there are 4,900 Medicare recipients
That's a huge number.
Yes, it's a very big number in regards to the scale of a population that is roughly under 25,000. So we're looking at 1 in 4. Folks that are here in the county. If you're out in the neighborhood or out grocery shopping, 1 or 4 of them are probably going to have Medicare. So the big issue that I'm seeing here and what has been kind of been played out over the last roughly 6 or 7 years here is in these rural counties, the plan benefits now are finally starting to get out to these individuals here. We could look back into 5-6 years ago where there may only be 5 or 6 different plan options, so very limited. And now we're looking here just for 2023. Now we're going to have 19 different plans that are going to be offered to individuals. And so you pair that with, the uneducated here on the Medicare side. And, the biggest 3 issues that I have when I talk with anybody is, one is they're fearful. They're going to make a mistake,
yes,
right? Terrified. The other one is apathy, to where maybe they've enrolled into a plan 5 or 6 years ago and they've all right, I did my thing and, I don't need to revisit this. I don't need to get a reassessment done. And it's just too confusing. I don't want to deal with it. And, the other big one, is going to be distrust. I don't trust you, or some folks maybe they don't trust the government or whatever the case is,
for whatever reason.
Yeah, exactly. Or they may have called that that 1-800 number on the TV and they got burned. And so when you have those are my biggest 3 objections when I sit down with folks from a local standpoint here. But not to get too far off track, but when we look at things here locally, we're looking at the 4,900 folks, about 35% of them are enrolled into some type of Advantage plan. Now, some might be enrolled into a state plan, whether that's through Florida Blue, like through the DROP program or whatever that is, and some might be enrolled in supplements. But when we're looking at this from a state standpoint of state nationally, about 1 in 2 folks are enrolled into a Medicare plan. So we have this huge disparity of, 15% of the population is kind of behind here. You could look at bigger county populations like down in, Hillsborough County and Tampa or South Florida.
Right.
And we're looking at numbers down there that are in the 60%, An interesting outlier is Gadsden County, which is just south of Tallahassee and Leon.
Right. Very rural
yes,
county. Mm-hmm.
But shockingly, their Medicare enrollment is at 61%.
A
So
lot of seniors.
Right. And so that might just be from, again, an education standpoint. Folks don't have a resource, don't have any type of education where they can go out and pursue that. And so I think that's where, what the big focus is, when I sit down with folks, is educating and advising them on their Medicare benefits. And then obviously, getting them set up to where, they're enrolled in something that's obviously going to suit their needs and is in their best interest, of course.
Isaac, I know that you have always been very supportive of Holmes County Council on Aging.
Yep.
Supporting our Holmes County seniors.
Sure.
And being accessible to them. It can be. I just can't imagine having to navigate through all this red tape and then just making certain that you have the right program that's going to fit your medical needs.
Yeah. Whenever we do an assessment, and Medicare always sends out the confusing Medicare new book. It's essentially a big paperweight. I tell a lot of folks that, but Medicare is essentially telling you in a book format that you need to get an assessment done every year. And if you're not doing that, again, it leads to a lot of different confusion issues, things like that. I kind of blanked here on the question. What did you ask again?
We were talking about the Holmes County seniors and just your support and just the fear that seniors have.
Yeah, and again, when you don't have resources or education, around the area, you're always going to be fearful to make a mistake. So I come from a standpoint of educating you first on just how Medicare works, because, it's going to be just like anything that you do. If you're not going to be educated on a topic, you're not going to be confident enough to make a real smart or educated decision for you, because you just don't know the subject material or whatever that is. And so, again, seniors aren't going out there and pursuing that, right? They're not going to, hey, let me look through this huge book here, or, they want something that's going to be simple and hopefully effective for them. But a lot of times what they do is they'll reach out, and some of them may not, do their due diligence and just know, hey, I got to enroll in something. And again, it just becomes problematic. So helping fill that educational void, I think, is the biggest thing that I come from. And then we look at, hey, what are your needs, right? Like, hey, I know that I might be diabetic, or I know that I need to have my cardiologist in network, or hey, I know that I'm going to have dental work done this year, and do you have anything that covers dental? So then we look at it from a needs standpoint. So that second part is going to be the assessment. So asking a few questions, listening to what your needs are, and then at that point in time, problem solving here. Hey, out of the 19 plans that are offered here in the county, I represent every single one, so you're not going to be misled with, hey, I can only write a particular insurance carrier. And so, puts folks at a disadvantage already right off the bat there. So, after that, doing the assessment, I come back and I say, hey, here's our options of what we have. Here's my personal opinion or my recommendation. But if you like a different plan better, I have no problem enrolling you in that or helping you with that, or let's have another, a little bit more deeper conversation in regards to that plan. So that's kind of the process when I sit down with any individual.
Okay.
So from a local standpoint here, that's what I'm trying to get out here to folks, of being a resource to individuals.
What local resources are available to the residents of the county and neighboring counties for the senior population other than Medicare resources that you provide?
Yeah, so I also help in regards to individuals who qualify based on income. All right, that might qualify, and again, you'll see it on the TV every year that folks are saying, "Hey, we can help pay for your Medicare Part B premium." Okay, this year just skyrocketed to the moon because of COVID. It went from 148 was the Medicare Part B premium, went all the way to 170 this year. So that was a big increase for a lot of folks, and that was my biggest sticking point that folks are calling me saying, "Hey, do I qualify for this? I keep seeing this, I keep seeing this benefit." And so that helps alleviate a lot of pressure, obviously, economically with what's been going on now. That $170 is, essentially I'm putting $2,000 in your hand for the year.
Yeah.
You can pay groceries and do, having that disposable income to use that'll be available to you. So those are certain, benefits as well, or services that I do provide in regards to Medicaid qualification, things like that. But those are all going to be based on income. Help on medications as well. So you'll see that the extra help. Those are all going to be based on income limits. So I will actually help apply, via Social Security, or I do have some local contacts here at the Medicaid office in Bonifay where they've essentially seen me every 2 weeks and they say, "Hey, Isaac, how's it going? Who do you have to hear today?" So helping those folks out, giving them, more disposable income to help with, costs that are going on now. And then also those qualifying events would also open them up to enroll into a plan that isn't typically offered to folks that have just Medicare only.
Okay.
So Medicare and Medicaid, those are specific plans. We call those duals. Okay, dual special needs plans, having both Medicare and Medicaid. So those are gonna, help the most obviously impoverished, individuals.
And of course, seniors, most seniors are on a fixed income, and every penny counts. So, so you just provide such a great service to a population that needs an advocate, and actually helps them through the process. Now, I know the open enrollment period is upon you. I think it starts when
your enrollment window is going to be from October 15th. To December 7th. That's going to be your annual enrollment period where you can make a plan change. Okay. You can also make multiple plan changes in that open enrollment period. So let's say, hey, I enroll into a plan in October and I'm thinking, hey, wait a minute, I think I found something better. Or, hey, I called Isaac and he advised me with something else. You can still make a plan change there as long as you get it in by December 7th.
Okay. Now, tell our viewers how they can get in touch with you.
Yes. Yeah. So best way to get in contact with me is going to be via phone. I'm going to be probably working 14-hour days for the next 9-10 weeks in a row here. So calling me, on my phone number, 850-230-6970. If I don't pick up, it's probably because I'm sitting down with somebody or talking to somebody. But, I just stress, if you haven't got an assessment done in the last 2 years, which about 60% of folks that are on Medicare, that are just on Medicare, not on a Medicare plan, but just on Medicare, have never got an assessment done, ever, or within the last 2 years, I really stress that you do that. Just getting an assessment done, getting you, an idea of the lay of the land of what's available to you now, or, hey, I saw something else out there. Typically, it takes me 5 questions and about 10 minutes on a phone call. Just give you some peace of mind, So that's what I recommend, to anybody who's looking for information, is to reach out to me directly.
Thank you, Isaac, for sitting down and talking with us today. This is such great information for our seniors, and for our seniors out there in Holmes County, please give Isaac a call. He will advocate for you when you are signing up for your Medicare benefits. We just thank you today for coming.
Appreciate it. Let's do it again next year.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me today here at Chats with the Chamber Lady, where we met Isaac and how Becker's Insurance Group can help you make an informed decision about your Medicare options. Tune in next time when we'll sit down with other local businesses, because if you need it, you want it, or you want to do it, we've got it right here in Holmes County. Thank you.